Good day, class. Welcome to IT 01, Living in IT Era. My name is Sese, and I will be your instructor for this day. Alright, so in chapter 3, we will discuss computer hardware. So we have three objectives for this chapter. So the first objective is to identify the commonly used hardware in a computer. Second objective is to discuss the input and output devices. Third objective is to discover the components of a central processing unit. So last meeting, we discussed software, which is the non-tangible part of computer. So hardware, which is abbreviated as HW, refers to all physical components of a computer system, including the devices connected to it. We cannot create a computer or use software without using hardware. The screen on which you are reading this information is also a hardware. What is a hardware upgrade? So hardware upgrade refers to a new hardware or a replacement for the old one, or additional hardware developed to improve the performance of the existing hardware. A common example of a hardware upgrade is a RAM upgrade that increases the computer's total memory, and video card upgrade where the old video card is removed and replaced with a new one. So some of the commonly used hardware in your computer are described in the next slide. So we have here the motherboard. As you can see on the picture, class, this is the example of motherboard. So motherboard is generally a thin circuit board that holds together almost all parts of a computer except input and output devices. All crucial hardware like CPU, memory, hard drive, and ports for input and output devices are located on the motherboard. It is the biggest circuit board in a computer chassis. So it allocates power to all hardware located on it and enables them to communicate with each other. It is meant to hold the computer's microprocessor chip and let other components connect to it. Each component that runs the computer or improves its performance is a part of the motherboard or connected to it through a slot or port. So there can be different types of motherboards based on the type of size of the computers. So a specific motherboard can work only with specific types of process and memory. So there are many components of a motherboard. So the first component is the CPU slot. So CPU slot, it provides to install the CPU. It is a link between a microprocessor and a motherboard. It facilitates the use of CPU and prevents the damage when it is installed or removed. Furthermore, it is provided with a lock to prevent CPU movement and a heat sink to dissipate the extra heat. Next is the RAM slot. So RAM slot, it is a memory slot or socket provided in the motherboard to insert or install the RAM, random access memory. So there can be two or more memory slots in a computer. So third is the expansion slot. It is called the bus slot or expansion port. It is connection or port on the motherboard, which provides an installation point to connect a hardware expansion card. For example, you can purchase a video expansion card and install it into the expansion slot and then can install a new video card and the computer. Some of the common expansion slots in a computer are AGP, AMR, CNR, PCI, etc. Next, after the expansion slot is the North Bridge. So North Bridge, it is an integrated circuit that allows communications between the CPU interface, AGP, and memory. Furthermore, it also allows the South Bridge chip to communicate with the RAM, CPU, and graphics controller. After the North Bridge is we have the USB port. USB port allows you to connect hardware devices like mouse, keyboard to your computer. So we also have here the PCIe slot, AGP slot, and the CMOS battery. So next class, we will define what is monitor. So a monitor is a display unit of a computer on which the process data such as text, images, etc. is displayed. It comprises a screen circuitry and the case which encloses this circuitry. The monitor is also known as a visual display unit or VDU. So there are different types of monitor. Maybe some of you are aware of this type. So let's define what is the first type of monitor. So the first type of monitor is we have the LCD monitor or the liquid crystal display. So the LCD monitor, it is a flat panel screen. It uses liquid crystal display technology to produce images on the screen. Advanced LEDs have thin film transistors with capacitors and use active matrix technology, which allows pixels to retain their charge. After the LCD monitor, we have the LED monitor. So LED monitor is an advanced version of an LCD monitor. Unlike an LCD monitor, which is called cathode fluorescent light to backlight the display. It has LED panels, each of which has lots of LEDs to display the backlight. After the LED monitors, we also have the OLED or organic light emitting diode. As the name suggests, it is made of organic materials such as carbon, plastic, wood, and polymers that used to convert electric current into light. We also have the plasma monitor. It uses plasma display technology that allows it to produce higher resolutions of up to 1920 by 1080 wide viewing angle, a high refresh rate, outstanding contrast ratio, and more. So for the plasma monitor, is made of plasma technologies, another latest types of computer monitor technology. Display of plasma made with cells. These cells are filled with electrically charged ionized gas. Such cells are called plasma. So the oldest type of monitor is the CRT monitor. So here CRT means cathode ray tube. Its main part is the cathode ray tube, which is called the generally pictured tube. The above image is of the CRT monitor and was used in a few decades ago as a desktop computer or to watching TV. So the CRT or the CRT monitor, its main components are electron gun assembly, deflection plate assembly, glass envelope, fluorescent screen, and base. After the monitors, we have the keyboard. So keyboard, it is the most important input device of a computer. It is designed to allow you input text, characters, and other commands into a computer, desktop, tablet, etc. It comes with different sets of keys to enter numbers, characters, and perform various other functions like copy, paste, delete, and enter. So we have the three different type of keyboard. The first type of keyboard is the QWERTY, next is AZERTY, and the third one is the Dvorak keyboard. Next is we have here the mouse. Mouse, it is small handheld device designed to control or move the pointer. In a GUI or graphic user interface, it allows you to point to or select objects on a computer's display screen. It is generally placed on a flat surface as we need to move it smoothly to control the pointer. So the different types of mouse are trackball mouse, mechanical mouse, optical mouse, wireless mouse. So the main functions of a mouse: move the cursor. It is the main function of the mouse to move a cursor on the screen. Open or execute a program. It allows you to open a folder or document and execute a program. You are required to take the cursor on the folders and double click it to open it. Next is to select. It allows you to select text, file, or any other objects. Hovering. Hovering is an act of moving the mouse cursor over a clickable object. During hovering over an object, it displays information about the object without pressing any button of the mouse. Last one is scroll. It allows you to scroll up or down while viewing a long web page or document. So there are different parts of a mouse. So the first part is the two buttons. A mouse is provided with two buttons for right click and the left click. Scroll wheel, a wheel located between the right and the left buttons, which is used to scroll up and down and zoom in and zoom out in some applications like AutoCAD. Battery, a battery is required in wireless mouse. Motion detection assembly, a mouse can have a trackball or an optical sensor to provide signals to the computer about the motion and location of the mouse. So we have here the input and output devices. So let's define what is input devices. So input devices enables the user to send data, information, or control signals to a computer. The central processing unit or CPU of a computer receives the input and processes it to produce the output. So CPU, or the alternately referred to as a processor, central processor, or microprocessor, the CPU is a central processing unit of the computer. A computer CPU handles all instructions it receives from hardware and software running on the computer. So we have here the machine cycle. So the component of a CPU or ALU, control unit, memory or storage unit or registers. So some of the popular input devices are keyboard, mouse, scanner, joystick, light pen, digitizer, microphone, magnetic ink character recognition, optical character reader, digital camera, paddle, steering wheel, gesture recognition devices, light gun, touchpad, remote, touchscreen, VR, webcam, and biometric devices. So this is the end of chapter 3. So I hope class you understand well and see you on the next chapter. Thank you and goodbye class.
For more ICCT College's video updates, please subscribe and click the notification button.